朋友们好 Hello friends, welcome to another lesson of beginner conversational Chinese. Today we'll be talking about pets, one of my favorite topics. So in this lesson, we'll learn to talk about your preferences for pets and a few common pets, as well as how to talk about what your pet looks like. So let's get started. So here we have the classic question, the rivalry between cats and dogs.How would you say, do you like cats or dogs in Chinese? 你喜欢猫还是狗？你喜欢猫还是狗？ So 你喜欢, that means you like. 猫 is the word for cats, or a single cat. So that's pretty easy because it sounds like the noise that a cat would make, meow. So it's just 猫.And since in Chinese, we have measure words for every single noun, the measure word for cats is 只. So 只 is a common measure word that we would use for small animals. So for example, one cat would be 一只猫. So how would you say two cats? Yep, so instead of R, we typically use 两 when you have two, the number, before a noun. So 两只猫.How would you say I have two cats? So it's 我有两只猫. And then the key word in this question is 还是. 还是 means or. So we have two words for or in Chinese. One is 还是, the other one is 或者. 或者. So the distinction between the two is that 还是 is only used in a question that involves choosing between two or more options. So for example, 你喜欢猫还是狗? You have to choose either the cat or the dog. Versus for 或者, you don't have to make a choice. So for example, if you are fine with either pasta or rice for dinner, you would use 或者 in this sentence.And you can also use 或者 in the question if you don't require the person that answers the question to make a choice. But for a question that involves making a choice, then we have to use 还是. So hopefully that's not too confusing. So 还是 for making a choice. And then the word for dog is 狗. 狗. So you can use the same measure word as cats, 只 for dogs. So how would you say I have 3 dogs?So 我有, I have 3只狗. Now here's another measure word that you can use with dogs, which is 条. 条. Now 条 is kind of an interesting choice for dogs because it's typically used for animals with a thin and long body, like a fish or a snake. So not all dogs have a thin and long body. So it's kind of interesting that in Chinese, we also use 条 with dogs. Okay, so the whole question is, 你喜欢猫还是狗? Do you like cats or dogs? So if you have a clear preference for either one of them, you can answer with just 我喜欢 blank. So if you're a cat person, 我喜欢猫. If you're a dog person, 我喜欢狗. Or you don't even have to say 我喜欢, just 猫 or 狗. But what if you're somebody like me who likes both animals? Then you can say something like, 我都喜欢. 我都喜欢. So 我 for I or me, 都 means all or both. Here it means both. 喜欢 to like. So in English, you would say I like both of them. Both is used to modify them. But in Chinese, 都 is used to modify the verb 喜欢. So it goes before 喜欢. So 我都喜欢. I like both of them. You can also use the exact same phrase for liking more than 2 things. So 我都喜欢. But if you're not an animal lover, you might like neither of them. Then you would say 我都不喜欢. 我都不喜欢. Because 不 is how you would negate 喜欢. So to start a conversation about pets, it's natural to ask somebody if they keep pets. And the way to ask that in Mandarin is 你养宠物吗? 你养宠物吗? 你 for you, 养 养 means to raise or to keep both animals and people. 养. So you can use it with pets. For example, I keep dogs. I would say 我养狗. Or I keep cats. 我养猫. But you can also use it with children. 我养孩子. Remember 孩子 from the family lesson? 我养孩子. You can even use 养 with other people that you are responsible for. So if you're supporting somebody else, you could say 我养他. I support him or her. 宠物 is how we say pet. 宠物. 宠 means to pamper, to spoil. For example, how would you say his mom spoils him? So it'd be 他的妈妈宠他. You can even put a 横 before 宠 to describe the extent to which the spoiling happens. So if somebody spoils someone very much, 很宠. 我很宠你. I spoil you very much. I pamper you very much. And 物 means an object. So something for you to pamper is your pet. 宠物. And then 妈 at the end, because we need that for a yes or no question. So the whole thing is 你养宠物吗? And it's easy to answer that. You could just answer with the verb 养. So if you do keep pets, 养. If you don't, 不养. Now another way to ask this question could be, do you have pets? 你有宠物吗? And then you could answer with 有 or 没有. But 养 is the proper word that we use for keeping pets. If you want to describe the kind of pets that you keep, this is how you can say it. 我养几条金鱼. 我养几条金鱼. So 我 for I or me, 养 to raise, to keep. 几条 means several 条. So we've seen 几 before as a numbers question word, but here it's not a question word. It just means several, a few. 条, again, it's a measure word for animals like fish or snake. 几条, several 条. 金鱼 means goldfish. 金鱼. So 金 is the metal gold. 鱼 means fish. So 几条金鱼, a few goldfish. How would you say a few dogs? 几条狗. Remember, you can use 条 with go as well. But you could also say 几只狗. So 我养几条金鱼. I keep a few goldfish. Now, you can also use 几 to ask about the numbers, right? So how would you say, how many goldfish do you keep? So literally all you need to do is to swap out 我 for 你. 你养几条金鱼? Technically, it could mean both you keep several goldfish or how many goldfish do you keep? 你养几条金鱼? But it's usually pretty clear from the context or from the intonation of the question. Because if it's a question, it will probably end in a rising tone. 你养几条金鱼? Let's go over a few other pet names that are common. For example, the word for rabbit is 兔子. 兔子. So 兔 is a good word to know because this year is the year of the rabbit. 今年是兔年. 今年 means this year. 兔年, literally rabbit year, but the year of the rabbit. And rabbits are typically small, so 只 works perfectly with it. So how would you say a rabbit? One rabbit. 一只兔子. 一只兔子. The next one is 鸟, which means bird. 鸟, 鸟. So it's a third tone word, so it kind of has that pause in the middle. 鸟. So we can also use 只 with 鸟. 一只鸟, one bird. How would you say 10 birds? 十只鸟. How would you say 100 birds? Do you remember your numbers? 100只鸟, like the movie Birds, so many birds. So hamsters are another choice for people when choosing a pet. 仓鼠. So remember, the letter C in Chinese is never pronounced like K. It's pronounced like ts. So 仓 仓by itself means a warehouse or a barn. 鼠 by itself means a mouse or a rat. 鼠. So a warehouse mouse is a hamster. 仓鼠. So hamsters definitely qualify as cute and little, so we use 只 with it. 一只仓鼠, a hamster. A more exotic option for pets is snake. 蛇. So when you see the pinyin SHE, you might be tempted to pronounce it like the English word she, but don't do it. It's 蛇. The E is pronounced like 蛇. And the measure word for 蛇 is 条 because it's definitely thin and long. So how would you say 3 snakes? 三条蛇. So how would you say I keep 2 birds and 1 rabbit? So 我养2只鸟和1只兔子. 和 means and. Now let's go over some of the questions that you can ask about somebody else's pet. And it should be a review of the things that we went over in previous lessons. So for example, if you want to ask somebody's cat's name, you could say 你的猫叫什么名字? 你的猫叫什么名字? So 你的猫 for your cat. 叫 to call. 什么 what? 名字 name. So 名字 is optional at the end, so you could also just say 你的猫叫什么? To answer that, you don't have to repeat 我的猫, you could just say 它 for it. Although in Chinese, all the third person singular pronouns are pronounced exactly the same. He, she, it, they're all 它. So 它叫, for example, I do have a cat. My cat's name is Jasper. So 它叫 Jasper. If you want to ask somebody how many dogs they have, you could say 你养几只狗? 你养几只狗? So what if you have 3 dogs? 我养3只狗. So birds live a long time. If you want to know how old somebody's bird is, you could ask 你的鸟几岁了? 你的鸟几岁了? And then to answer that question, 它 blank 岁了. So if it's a 10-year-old bird, 它10岁了. A lot of us like fluffy animals, and this is how you say I have a fluffy dog. 我有一只毛茸茸的狗. 我有一只毛茸茸的狗. So 我有 for I have, 一只, since we have to use a measure word, and you can use either 只 or 条 for dog. 毛茸茸的 means fluffy. So this word sounds pretty cute. 毛茸茸 by itself also means fluffy. So we use a de to connect an adjective and a noun. So 毛茸茸的狗, fluffy dog. How would you say a fluffy cat? So don't forget the measure word. 一只毛茸茸的猫. How would you say a fluffy bunny? 一只毛茸茸的兔子. So alternatively, you might want to say my dog is fluffy. How would we say that? So my dog, to turn I into my, you just need to add a de. 我的狗, my dog. And remember the structure that we went over in our last lesson? 是 plus adjective plus de. So 我的狗是毛茸茸的. My dog is fluffy. Okay, so if you want to ask somebody what their pet looks like, this is how we ask that in Mandarin. 你的兔子长什么样? 你的兔子长什么样? So 你的 for your or yours, here it means your. 兔子 rabbit. 长什么样 to look like what? So 长 by itself means to grow. So 长大 means to grow up, literally grow big, but that means to grow up. 什么样 So 什么 means what? 样 here refers to somebody's appearance. So 什么样 basically what look, what appearance. So 你的兔子长什么样 is how you would ask somebody what their rabbit looks like. How would you say what does your cat look like? Yep, so instead of 兔子 we say 猫. So 你的猫长什么样? How would you say, what does your mom look like? 你的妈妈长什么样? So 长什么样, you can use it with both animals and people, but you have to use it with living things. You cannot use it with an inanimate object. Okay, so if your rabbit has long ears, this is how you say it. 我的兔子有很长的耳朵。我的兔子有很长的耳朵。So 我的 for my or mine, here it means my. 兔子 rabbit 有 to have, here it means has. 很长的很长的 means very long. 长 by itself means long. If you have been paying attention to characters, you might remember that the character for to grow, 长, looks exactly the same as this character, 长. That's because they are the same. So when it means long, it's pronounced 长. When it means to grow, it's 长. And then the opposite of 长 is 短. 短. So the U in the middle is kind of like a W sound. 短 means short, but you can only use it for the length of an object. You cannot use it to describe somebody's stature. For that one, you have to say 矮. We'll go over that in another lesson. And the word for ear is 耳朵. 耳朵. 朵 is neutral, so we don't put any stress over it. 耳朵. So 很长的耳朵 means long ears. How would you say short ears? 很短的耳朵. So the whole thing goes, 我的兔子有很长的耳朵. My rabbit has very long ears. Now how would you say my dog has very short ears? 我的狗有很短的耳朵. The next one is talking about the fur color. Its fur is brown. 它的毛是咖啡色的。它的毛是咖啡色的。So 它的 means its, since 它 is the word it for animals. But if you want to say his or her, it's also 它的, just with a different character for 它. The word for fur or hair is 毛. 毛. It sounds like the word for cat, but it's a different tone. 毛. So it's worth noting here that we have two different words for hair on your head and hair on the rest of your body or animal fur. Fur and hair on your body is 毛. The head hair is 头发. 头发. 头 means your head. 发 is the hair on it, so 头发 is head hair. 是咖啡色的. To be brown, here it means is brown. Remember, there's two ways to say brown. 咖啡色, you could also say 棕色. So you could also say 是棕色的. And here we've encountered that structure again. 是 plus noun or adjective plus 的. That's how you can describe the property of something. 它的毛是咖啡色的. So its fur is brown. How would you say its fur is black? Now the word for black is 黑色. So 它的毛是黑色的. How would you say its fur is short? So here are two ways that you can do this. 它的毛是短的. So you can still use the 是 and the structure. 它的毛是短的. Or you can just use 很 instead of 是的. 它的毛很短. Now how would you say it has brown fur? So 它有咖啡色的毛. So we need the to connect an adjective and a noun. So 咖啡色的毛. Okay, the next one. Its tail is neither long nor short. 它的尾巴不长也不短。它的尾巴不长也不短。So 它的 again for its. 尾巴 means tail. 尾巴不长也不短 not long, also not short. So we've seen the structure in our previous lesson, not big nor small, 不大也不小, or not heavy nor light, 不重也不轻. So here it's not long nor short, 不长也不短. So the whole thing is 它的尾巴不长也不短. How would you say its tail is very long? 它的尾巴很长. You could also use the 是 plus adjective or noun plus 的，它的尾巴是长的 but 很长 is easier, so. My cat's eyes are very big. 我的猫的眼睛很大。我的猫的眼睛很大。In the first part, we have two does. 我的 and then 猫的。我的猫的。So 我的 means my. 我的猫 means my cat. And then to put another the after, it means my cat's apostrophe s. 眼睛 means eye or eyes. 眼睛 And then very big, 很大。我的猫的眼睛很大。So my cat's eyes are very big. How would you say my dog's eyes are very big? So instead of 猫, we say 狗。So 我的狗的眼睛很大。How would you say my bunny's tail is very short? Now remember the word for rabbit? 兔子 Tail is 尾巴 Short is 短 So 我的兔子的尾巴很短 Okay, so we've learned a lot about pets and how to describe them, and we've reviewed quite a few grammar structures. So let's now review together. So the first question, do you like cats or dogs? How would you say that in Mandarin? How would you answer that? So the key word for or here is 还是 So 你喜欢猫还是狗 So to answer that, if you have a clear preference, 我喜欢猫 or 狗 If you like both of them, 我都喜欢 If you like neither of them, 我都不喜欢 Next one, do you keep pets? And how would you answer that? So the word for keep in Chinese is 养 So 你养宠物吗? 宠物 means pets. To answer that, you can just say 养 or 不养 Or you can give a more descriptive answer by telling us what animals you have and how many of them. So 我养一只猫 I keep a cat. Next one, what's your dog's name? So you have to say your dog calls what name? 你的狗叫什么名字? And then 名字 is optional. So to answer that, whatever your dog's name is, you just say 它叫 plus the name. Next one, what does your cat look like? 你的猫长什么样? So 长什么样 is the key phrase here that's used to ask about an animal, a person, or a person's appearance. 你的猫长什么样? Next one, it has small ears and orange fur. So it has 它有 small ears 小的耳朵 and 和 orange is 橙色 but then we need a de to connect the orange and fur so 橙色的毛 together 它有小的耳朵和橙色的毛 Last review question My dog's tail is neither long nor short So my dog is 我的狗 My dog's tail is 我的狗的尾巴不长也不短 is neither long nor short 我的狗的尾巴不长也不短 Okay, very good. Now let's have a practice conversation. So I'm going to ask you questions in Chinese, and I'll ask each question twice. And between each question, I'll give you a minute to think and answer this question before I reveal the answer. Okay, the first one. 你喜欢猫还是狗？你喜欢猫还是狗？ So I'm asking if you like cats or dogs. So you could say 我喜欢猫 or 狗 or 我都喜欢 I like both of them 我都不喜欢 I like neither of them. Next one. 你养宠物吗？你养宠物吗？ So I'm just asking if you keep pets. So if you do, 养 if you don't, 不养 or you can be more descriptive. For example, 我养2只狗 I keep 2 dogs. Next one. 你喜欢毛茸茸的猫吗？你喜欢毛茸茸的猫吗？ So I'm asking if you like fluffy cats. 毛茸茸 means fluffy. If you do, 喜欢. If you don't, 不喜欢。下一个 next one. 你的宠物叫什么名字？你的宠物叫什么名字？ Since I'm not sure what your pet is, I'm just asking the name for your pet. So what's the name of your pet? So 它叫 could mean his name is, her name is, its name is. So 它叫 Jasper. His name is Jasper. 你的宠物几岁了？你的宠物几岁了？ I'm asking about the age of your pet. For example, my cat is 10. 我的猫10岁了 or 我的宠物10岁了 or just 10岁了。下一个 next one. 你的宠物有什么颜色的毛？你的宠物有什么颜色的毛？ There are 2 keywords here. One of them is 什么颜色？颜色 means color. So what color? 毛, not to be confused with 猫, which means cat. 毛 means fur. Also, you can probably tell from the context, because otherwise it wouldn't make sense to ask somebody, what color cats does your pet have? So it could only mean fur. So what color is the fur of your pet? Literally, your pet has what color fur? So I have an orange cat. I could say, 我的猫有橙色的毛。Now, if you have a white dog, you could say, 我的狗有白色的毛。下一个 next one. 你的宠物的毛很长吗？你的宠物的毛很长吗？ So again, I'm asking about your pet's fur. 很长 means long. So is your pet's fur very long? Do you have a long-haired animal? In my case, my cat is long-haired. So 很长. You can answer with the adjective since we don't have a verb here. And in Chinese, adjectives often function like verbs. So 很长 or 不长 or 很短 very short or 不长也不短 neither long nor short. 最后一个 last question. 你的宠物的眼睛很大吗？你的宠物的眼睛很大吗？眼睛 means eyes. 大 means big. Are your pet's eyes big? So I think my cat has pretty big eyes. 我的猫的眼睛很大。If your pet doesn't have big eyes, 很小 or 不大也不小 neither big nor small. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. 谢谢你 Thank you so much for being here with me. 再见 I hope to see you in our next lesson.